I stared at the ceiling at 3 a.m., heart hammering like I was back in the OR with a crashing patient, and whispered to the dark, "I just cut my own father loose, and I don't know if I'll ever stop bleeding from it." That single decision still echoes in my bones. My name is Ethan, 36, anesthesiologist in a quiet Midwest city. On paper, I'm the success story, six-figure salary, steady hands that keep people breathing when the scalpel goes in. In reality, I'm drowning in med school debt, a mortgage, 2 young kids, and the quiet exhaustion of being everyone's safety net. For years, my family treated my paycheck like a public resource. My parents, Victor, the retired construction boss with an ego bigger than his old work boots, and Claire, the eternal peacemaker who'd rather burn herself out than rock the boat. Then my older sister, Brooke, the self-proclaimed influencer whose skincare side hustle barely covered her lattes, and her husband, Derek, who called his failed day trading consulting. I was the reliable one, the one who left home, grinded through residency, and somehow still got tapped whenever the well ran dry. The pattern started early. At 17, I begged my dad to co-sign on a beat-up Civic so I could drive to hospital volunteer shifts. He looked me in the eye and said, "Real men stand on their own feet." 2 years later, Brooke wanted a shiny new SUV for college. Not only did he co-sign, he put cash down and covered insurance like it was nothing. That lesson stuck. My struggles built character. There's required bailouts. Fast forward to the day, everything quietly broke. It was a gray Tuesday morning. I was in the hospital parking garage, scrubs still smelling of antiseptic, when my phone rang. Victor's voice, thick with that familiar mix of charm and pressure. "Son, quick favor. My old pickup's dying. Found a loaded 2023 diesel beast. Lifted, chrome, the works. Bank needs a cosigner because of some old medical bills on my credit. Just a formality. I'll make every payment. You won't feel a thing. $2,800 a month." I hesitated. That number could shift our family budget into survival mode. But the guilt trip landed exactly where it always did. "You're a doctor, Ethan. 6 figures. Your old man deserves to drive something decent after grinding his whole life." I signed. Stupid. Exhausted. Hoping it would buy peace. It didn't. Within weeks, the autopay mysteriously pulled from my account. Every month. For 18 straight months. Over $50,000 I never agreed to pay. Every time I confronted him, the excuses flowed like clockwork. They messed up the paperwork. "I'll fix it next week. You make that in a couple shifts anyway." I absorbed it. Delayed home repairs. Skipped vacations. Watched my student loan snowball shrink slower than it should. All while telling myself it was temporary. Then came November. Victor called during my lunch break, voice booming like he was offering me a gift. "We're doing Christmas big this year. 18 people, whole extended clan. Your mom wants it perfect. But with inflation, well, you make 6 figures. You can cover it. Gifts, food, travel for everyone. Family takes care of family, right?" I felt the familiar trap close. My wife, Sophia, a pediatric nurse who's seen every shade of human manipulation, warned me that night in our kitchen. "You keep lighting yourself on fire, hoping they'll finally feel the warmth. One day, there'll be nothing left but ash." We wrote it on a sticky note anyway. Last bailout. I caved. Set what I thought was a reasonable budget. They ignored every limit. Flights, catering, a minor league hockey outing, designer bags, latest iPhones for Brooke's kids, a top-tier gaming console, a drone for Derek. Thousands upon thousands funneled through my card while my own children's suggested gifts from Grandma and Grandpa were $20 store cards and a pair of Victor's old, worn hunting socks that still carried the faint smell of garage oil. I said nothing at the big Christmas gathering. I sat on the floor, forcing a smile as Brooke's kids screamed with joy over their shiny new toys. My 8-year-old son quietly opened his gift card, trying so hard to look grateful. My 6-year-old daughter lifted those musty socks and whispered, "They smell funny, Daddy." The rage that day wasn't loud. It was a cold, buzzing silence in my chest while Victor bragged to everyone about providing a proper Christmas for the family. That night, I sat alone in my car in their driveway, staring at the steering wheel, and something inside me finally went still. January 2nd, between cases, I opened my banking app and canceled the autopay on the truck loan with a single click. No jilling. No announcement. Just done. The first past due notice arrived at my house 2 weeks later. Then the calls from Victor started. Missed calls turning into furious voicemails. When I finally picked up, his voice exploded. What the hell did you do to the truck payment? The bank says it's delinquent. I answered calmly, the words tasting like steel. I canceled it. I've carried that loan for 18 months on a truck I don't own, don't drive, and never wanted. I paid for your Christmas while my kids got garage socks, and you told everyone how generous you were. I'm finished being the family ATM. Silence. Then the predictable storm, guilt, anger, accusations that I was selfish, that I thought I was better than them now. But the worst part came later that evening when my mother called, voice trembling. Ethan, your sister's kids are devastated. They thought their uncle would always be there for them. How can you do this to your own blood? That was when the full weight hit me. The real secret wasn't the money. It wasn't even the truck. The real secret was that they never loved me the way I kept hoping they would. They loved what my success could do for them. And every time I gave in, I was teaching my own children that their worth would one day be measured by how much they could be squeezed. I hung up without answering her. Now the loan sits in limbo. Late notices keep coming. My credit will probably take a hit when repossession talks start. Sophia and I have accepted it. We're protecting our peace, our kids' future, our own oxygen. But some nights, I still lie awake wondering if blood really is thicker than everything. Thicker than self-respect, thicker than fairness, thicker than the quiet dignity of finally saying enough. If it were you, if you'd spent years being the dependable one only to realize your family saw you as a resource instead of a person, would you have canceled that payment? Would you have finally chosen yourself? Tell me in the comments, because I'm still not sure if I'm the villain in their story or just the first one who stopped volunteering to bleed.